Greetings, family. Greetings, world. This is Zeph Lion, Word King. And today I want to talk about a topic that I am really heavily into. I want to talk about the greatest discovery. Now, beyond all controversy, the greatest discovery is self-discovery. To know thyself. Nothing can be compared to this. And I want to take you back to something that I usually love to say in all my talks. I usually like to say and remind us that we are spiritual beings having an earthly experience. That we came through our parents, but we came straight from the benevolent source, meaning we are spiritual beings having an earthly experience, the benevolent spirit. That's where we came from. And I want to put this point succinctly and clearly. I want to give a clear emphasis by using a story that was told by one of Jesus' disciples, the Apostle John. And these are the words that he penned down. This is his narrative about Nicodemus, who was a Jewish teacher. Nicodemus, a Jewish teacher, came to Jesus by night. And the reason why he came to Jesus by night was because Jesus was an outcast. Jesus was a radical. Jesus was somebody who was considered to be doing things in a very unorthodox way, not the way that everybody did it. He was a little bit different. And Nicodemus didn't want to go during the day when people can be like, hey, Nicodemus is going to hang out with Christ? Like, this is a little bit weird. People would think about him in a different way. So he went by night so that nobody could be able to see him. And when he went there, he asked Jesus, he's like, hey, the stuff that you do clearly is a sign that you are from God, because no one can do the signs that you do unless God is with him. And this is what Jesus the Christ answered Nicodemus. He said, most assuredly, unless you're born again, you cannot see the kingdom of God. Now Nicodemus was like, come on, man, I'm an old dude. How can I be born again? Am I going to go into my mother's womb a second time? Then Jesus answered him again, saying, unless you're born of the Spirit and of water, you cannot enter the kingdom of God. And then after this, Jesus said, what is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. So he was talking about levels of consciousness and levels of birth. The first birth that we take is the one that we get from our parents. You're born of the flesh. You're born of flesh and blood from your parents. And then you say you're a Kenyan, you're a Canadian, or you can say I'm black, I'm white, or you can say I'm a Christian, or you can say I'm a Buddhist. This is your first birth. But now the second birth is the spiritual birth, where now you're born of God. You're born of the Spirit. And when you're born of the Spirit, then you can see the kingdom of God and you can enter the kingdom of God. What every human being is looking for is the kingdom of God. That is what we're looking for. You're not looking for money. You're not looking for power. You might think you are, but you're really actually looking for the kingdom of God. You're looking for your true identity. You're looking to get to know who you really, truly are. And you are a child of God. That's who you are. If you're born of the Spirit, if you're a spiritual being, this means you're a child of God. That's all that simply means. I want to tell you a bit of my story. I grew up in a family where my dad was an intellectual and my mom was a spiritual. Now, my dad had the vocabulary and the vocabulary in his back pocket. He was basically a walking dictionary. When it came to the verbiage, he had it in check. He was good to go, man. He was very intellectual. But my mom was not so much about the verbiage. She was more about the message. She was more about the root of things. She was more about the heart of things. And she went a level beneath the intellect, which is the root of things. My dad was about the fruit of things, but my mom was about the root of things. Both these two are important, but it's the root that weighs more. Because I can take all your fruits away and the fruits will still grow, because it's the root that holds the tree together. And so I looked at my mom, her life and her way of seeing things. I looked at the joy and the peace that she always had, and I really desired this. And so from a very young age, I've always had an insatiable desire to spirituality. I've always had this. And I got this from my mom. And fast forward, I because of this deep desire, I went to Bible college. I got a degree in pastoral leadership, which is spiritual leadership. I loved to get to know who I am and to get to know the things of the Spirit. 2020, my scales totally fell off. Totally. I saw myself as a spiritual being more than I've ever done. I believed this in my heart. And it grew from being a belief to a knowing. I got to know that I am a spiritual being having an earthly experience, that I possess a divine nature. And that totally changed my life. Totally changed my life. And this is what is happening in the world right now. A lot of people are starting to discover their true nature. Men and women are tossing away their sheets and their blankets because the sun is shining. There's light out there. They don't want to be bound again by the shackles and chains of the night, because the daylight is out there. And when you discover your divine nature, you also discover your divine design. And when you discover your divine design, you tap into divine order. Your life becomes like that of a seed that has all the potential in it to become a tree, and then the tree that bears fruit. So you become a person that people can come and find shade on in the summer. Now it's spring, next is going to be summer. People can come and find shade under your tree, and they can also eat fruits and get refreshed. That's what becomes of your life when you tap into your divine nature. So this is Zeph Lion, y'all. I just wanted to remind you that when you discover your identity, you will unlock your destiny. You are a spiritual being having an earthly experience. Think about this, ponder on these things, and they'll become more and more clearer as the days go by. Have a blessed day. One love. Peace.